Welcome to the wonderful world of Palworld, a brave new world open to new wonder and new opportunity. Kind of like Rust and Ark, but everything here is friendly instead. And with the start of any grand new adventure, I needed a companion to come with me. Just the cat looked kind of stupid and I don't really want a sheep. But then, that's what I sought. The perfect first member of my team. I mean, I guess I can't expect it to be too easy. Like the start of all good relationships, it's just gonna take a little bit of work. I guess one could say my adventure wasn't off to a great start. I failed at catching the Firefox thing, and then they all just kind of started blasting at me. When I returned, the catch percentage had gone down so low that it wasn't really worth to try it. I also kept accidentally throwing my pal spheres. At least I lucked out and found a megasphere in a chest, but by the time I returned to the Firefoxes, they were gone, and I just found, whatever this is. Except they were just a little further down, and with my better sphere catcher thing, it would soon be mine. There was also a weaker one, but that also didn't work. Son of a... Just when I thought my luck had run out, I found a scorched egg, and now all I needed was an egg incubator. Except I had to get to level 7. For this, I was going to need a base of operations. Although for some reason that triangle piece was broken and I couldn't seem to rotate it. It worked fine on the floor, but up there... I don't understand what's going on. Using a roof piece, it was possible to flip the corner parts around so that it looked like an actual base. I mean, it wasn't a great one, but for now it would do. All that mattered was that I needed to get to level 7. Also, screw these penguin guys. That afternoon I fried some berries and... What the heck is that thing? Yeah, I wasn't quite ready for adventure yet. First, I needed to hatch my companion. And to do that, I collected more resources, made a table and benches, and found another egg, continued gathering more resources. God, this was taking forever and we barely made any progress. I also made a stool, built a pal box, tried to catch a deer, hid from the deer on top of the ruins nearby, gathered more resources, got tired of waiting, went out exploring, took another chance, and finally, we actually caught something. And leveling up became a lot easier. And we also caught this mini elephant thing. I don't know what else we'd call it. Did you know that when pals faint, they drop resources that you can collect, and a bunch of them are used for different crafting things. I wasn't gonna catch a sheep thingy, but once it started rolling around, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Back at the base, I was almost level 7, and the deer was in the water, and I thought, you know, maybe this is a good chance. It seems to be stuck down there. The fox did a ton of damage, but was taken out in the end, and the elephant also hit it hard, but that was also taken out. And then it got to me too, and took me out as I was trying to make another sphere, and then it also lit itself on fire and took itself out before I could respawn and try to catch it, which kind of sucked. At least from the resources I'd gathered on my way back, I was able to make a bunch of spheres, some new clothes, and finally I hit level 7. Well, I just needed some more wool to make cloth so that I could make the egg incubator. Also, the scorch egg seemed a little cold, so I tried a campfire to warm it up, but that didn't seem to make a difference. And when it hatched, it revealed flambelle. I think that's how it's pronounced. And next, I was excited to see what was inside the dark egg. Okay, yeah, I'm hoping I get something cooler than Depresso. Like that. We were able to damage down low, but I ran out of spheres, and I just hoped it would still be there by the time I got back. Although back at the base, the egg was ready, which gave us a daydream? That sounds kind of cool. We'll set this egg to grow, and then... That daydream actually looks pretty cool. Wait, what's it doing? Wait, is it... It's moving things. Oh, shit. These guys can do all the work for me? Yeah, I didn't think the bird was still going to be here. And behind egg number 3, a dire howl, and it can be ridden. Except I need level 9. I spent the next bit of time setting up some different resource stations, a pal gear workbench, and collecting all the other pals in the area that I hadn't gotten yet. I needed to find out what jobs they were capable of and how I could use them to fuel my capitalistic dreams. Another Nightwing also showed up, so I made sure to snatch that and finally reached level 9. I just needed a little bit more paldium and... Oh, wait, did that eggs... Do they respawn? Back at the base, a raid started? Something, about a Toko self-destruct unit. Well, except the enemy never showed up, and then it said they were defeated, so that's good, I think. Riding Dire Howl, I went on the search for lamballs to complete the quest that I was... Oh, right. I forgot about assigning stats. Well, I'll do stamina and weight. I don't think I need attack, because I'm just going to be automating the harvesting of everything that I can, and... Oh, yeah, I haven't gotten one of these guys, which I guess I probably... He can do the mining. And we've also got a serpent. Interesting. Why isn't this being worked on? Oh, you're stuck. I'm starting to notice a bit of a problem here. Oh my god, that's so cool. Wait, can I have up to 3 of them on this? There's 3 spots, it looks like. What are they doing? Just down the beach there was a hillside cavern with a boss and a timer on it. Did dungeons also randomly pop up in places? I'd love to explore it, but I didn't think my team was ready for something like that yet. We were pretty underleveled. But I did find my lumber worker. There was also a rock in the middle of the lumber spot, and I think that's why some of the pals kept getting stuck on top. Or not, never mind. I caught the last of the 5 lamb balls I needed and went for the Eichthirdir. Except an unlucky crit had me waste my fancy sphere, but I did get the other Eichthirdir. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I found out that it was level 2 with lumber, so quickly swapped that out. Passing through a rocky area, I heard this shimmering sound and I wanted to investigate it, and there was this massive rare pinglet. So, of course I caught it, and I brought it along for my journey. Before we left, I put a large dark egg I'd found in the egg thing, and we'll come back for that later. Now, at the base of this large tower was a door to a zone where the first boss fight was located. I thought we were ready, but I don't know how we're supposed to beat it on our own. It went through my entire team that's pretty much maxed out for the area, and we only dropped it to half health. But at least after I got all my stuff back, we found a camp of people who I pummeled to death, but they also had guns. So is that where the bows for crafting come in to help defeat these guys? Or wait, can I? Oh God, that doesn't feel right. Oh wait, that also means... Yeah, never mind. I still wasn't doing enough damage to keep up. But at least from the camp, we found this guy. Welcome to the team, little ice hedgehog, I think. But gosh, sometimes these pals are just stupid. I also quickly learned that the pals' max levels has nothing to do with the area that I'm in, but it's my level, so my pals can't exceed my level, which meant I had a lot of work ahead, so we began looking around for more pals and experience. And it worked out pretty good. We caught an ice ferret, there was a goat, a boar, a sparkit, a duck, which had an interesting name, and then there was a few other things we found as well, and I learned that the eggs have random pools of pals that can spawn from them, which is really nice. I was worried we'd only get the same pals from different eggs. I also caught a cow and a sheep that gives cotton candy, although it doesn't really give you that much hunger back. And yeah, we're gonna have to move this tree here. But we also learned it's not just a thing with my pals. The wild ones are also, for some reason, fascinated with the tops of trees. And I learned that, well, I was trying to fight this guy, and I threw the wrong ball, and he's a pal now? Yeah, he's in there. Although it's an interesting skill for his position. The dungeon on the beach was still in the same location, so I started to think that maybe they don't randomly appear places, which is nice because that means we can come back to different ones and they'll be hopefully easier to find this way too. I don't know what the exploration stuff means. The inside of dungeons seem to be made up of randomly generated rooms and hallways, and they hold Pokemon pals, that might not spawn in the surrounding areas outside of the dungeon. I also learned that fighting atop Dire Howl is very effective, and it also doesn't bother me to attack wild pals anymore. Oh my God, why are you still getting stuck up there? But now with my pals at a higher level, dealing with the boss, it was a lot easier. I did go through a little over 80 arrows before we were even halfway done the fight, so I spent a lot of the time just kind of dodging and running around, but Fox Sparks and Jolthog, they carried the rest of the fight. I thought we'd get some cool stuff after beating him, but I guess tech points are all right. But after defeating it, it did spawn us on the top of the tower, so we've got that marked, although I don't know why I would need up here. But it was good to see a trail of smoke coming up off in the distance, so something's there, and I think that's where we're gonna head off to next. And would you look at that? There's a little town nestled in here. They even got a merchant that sells nothing of interest. Oh, and a pal merchant that, yeah, pretty much the same thing. And there's an innkeeper that does nothing. All right, yeah, that was a waste. Up the mountain, I found more of the Syndicate thugs, but this time they also had some Pokemon fighting with them. And whoa, there are some crazy places out here. I could also use some points in my stamina, I think. Ah, crap. Yeah, and I don't want to walk all the way back out there. So with the level 15, I just needed one more piece of leather. Okay, I think I messed that one up. Oh God, yeah, we're still underleveled. Fighting this thing will take forever, so I'll just okay, man. Yeah, that was a little overkill. With the extra leather in hand, the saddle was queued up. And the most boring, uneventful moment I would ever experience in Palworld began. I sat there for I don't know how long just holding the F button. At some point I just started watching shorts on my phone. And then to top it all off, flying wasn't as great as I thought it was gonna be. I was hoping for Ark Survival free flying, but all I got was this raising and lowering thing that didn't even last that long. I guess it was still better than climbing by hand. further inland, I was ready to make a new base. I wanted some more space, and it'd be nice for a change of scenery. Plus, the ambient Pokemon in this area were more of my level, so it'd be easier to level up and train. The only problem now is I couldn't start a second base, so I had to move everything. I wasn't sure what the best approach for this would be, so I just disassembled everything, left all the resources on the ground, and then started the long, drawn-out process of moving it all, which also sucked. It took a little over an hour to move all of the resources and build all the basic facilities back up, but eventually it was there. Except, I didn't even have to do all of this. Right after I broke everything down, I went and clicked over on the box to go and deposit my Pokemon, my pals, and I saw that all I had to do was upgrade the base one more time, and it would have allowed me 2 bases. Son of a... With some more levels under our belt, I thought it would be a good opportunity to catch the Pen King boss. But the first round didn't quite go so well. Second round, we kept our distance, making sure to not get kicked out of the arena this time, and we were able to make easy work of him. From there, I explored the southern islands and caught as many pals as I could. Not only did I want the experience, but more importantly, I wanted to try out this new machine that we just built and combine pals together because it's supposed to make them more powerful. Although it didn't seem to boost their stats too much. My current goals right now are as follows. Level up, get cake, and catch Mamarest. Leveling up, we need to be able to unlock new recipes. Cake we need for breeding, and catching Mamarest, well, it was one of the first things I ever saw in the first Pokemon or paddle thing I ever wanted on my team, and we must get him. I'm not quite sure where I got the wheat seeds from, but those were now growing and we had flour in production. Leveling up was also progressing all right. Not quite as quickly as I'd hoped, but we did find a huge verdant egg, so whatever that's gonna be, I'm excited to find out. There was also something that glitched at some point a while ago, and I was stuck in perpetual combat. For over half an hour, this music just wouldn't stop, and I got tired of it, so I had to relog to fix that. It also looks like the further you go from spawn areas, the less frequently these teleport statues show up. So I'm gonna have to put in more thought before I jump out exploring from now on. After a few levels, we unlocked the musket, and that combined with a more powerful team, we tried our hands at Catris, the level 23 boss located right over here, and well, now she works for me as someone that can do medicine, which is hopefully gonna let us fix some of the issues that have been going on lately. But a bigger problem that started to show up is that a lot of the recipes and blueprints need ingots, and it's also one of the few resources that we can't just automate within our base. But I did luck out because there's a location in the mountains with a ton of ore nodes right beside each other, and there's a teleport statue right there too. So first thing I do when I unlock a third base is I'm gonna plant one right here and set up a few pals to auto mine and store all the stuff in boxes for me. I already have a second base that technically we could put there, but soon that will be the epicenter of our breeding. Our pals will be getting frisky because apparently you can combine different pals together through breeding to make entirely new ones. I hope. Unless I've heard wrong, but I won't know until I get cake. The next step in upgrading my base was a sphere assembly line, which will be nice, hopefully speed up our sphere crafting, and a power generator, which I assume is for the assembly line. For this, I was going to need a lot of ingots and electric organs. I also don't know what started to cause this, maybe it's the level I'm at now, but I've begun finding lots of different element eggs. On my search to find an area with an abundance of electric pals, I found a few near the original base, a dungeon, mostly a bunch of other pals, ancient ruins, a pal that could pass for a human, and is also a pain to fight, a new spot for pals to get stuck on, got more egg incubators, caught Pedalia, found a big monkey, and then they're still getting caught on the trees. I had done no progress at this point on the breeding, so I shifted gears and got my ore automation. Or at least to the best of my ability of getting it. I brought in a bunch of pals, gave them beds, berries, a place to eat, furnaces, and some defensive walls along the cliffs so that they wouldn't be able to fall down there and get stuck. And hopefully this makes getting ore a little bit easier. With the assembly line and power generator running, spheres were now faster to make than ever. And next, I was on the hunt for high quality oil. I needed that for the assembly line. I didn't have much luck at first. I knew there were large cat pals that dropped them, but I couldn't remember where they were, so I set out for uncharted territory. Eventually, I found what I was looking for on the Relaxorus, and along with that, an incredible view. And I still wonder if I can make it out to that tree. With the construction of our new equipment, things were progressing nicely. At any point now, I could build a third base, although the pals were still stuck on the tree. And I wonder what that line is going up into the sky. I continued exploring and charting unknown areas and then eventually returned to make a better furnace. Because now, I could make refined ingots. Almost. I needed to find coal. That was until my nice casual afternoon was interrupted and then obliterated by a pack of flying pals. How the hell is someone supposed to stop something like that? It took a bit to get everything back up on track, and then I was off on the hunt for coal. Although I think I've found what I'm looking for. Coal mined quickly and weighed little, which made for a nice resource to collect. And the desert was also hot, so I'd need to bring some different armor next time I came out here. I queued up some refined ore, picked up some more raw ore while I waited, and then I made a brand new pickaxe for myself. And oh boy did this make collecting ore easy. I grabbed some of my armor for the warm weather and I went back out to the desert. It worked great during the day and I was able to catch a few pals, but as soon as night fell, well, it got a little bit colder here than I thought it would. As well as I found this abomination. And then I fell to the cold temperature, only to respawn and have to deal with more of these guys. God, we need some defenses. Back in the desert, there was a huge dragon egg, so I was very excited to see what came out of that. And then I went back out, mapped the area to the west, and there was this fantastic spot for a base. I made a mental note of the location. And then we found Wixen up on a hill. I'd never seen it before, and then we accidentally took it out a little bit too quickly. So, I guess we're a little overpowered for the area. Across the water from here was the base of a massive towering mountain. And while there wasn't much for pals along the base of it, climbing up was still no easy task. I hoped I'd find some sort of teleport statue, but there were none in sight, which made scaling the mountain a little more nerve-wracking. But thankfully it didn't turn out so bad. We did pass by some powerful pals, lakes of lava, and old ancient ruins, and then at the very top we found our salvation, as well as another boss tower. But I assumed we were still far under level to attempt something like that. Back at the base we struggled with another raid, and I decided that I'd had enough of that. I built a perimeter wall, put in some gates, added some lights, which honestly, seeing this now, we should have done it a while ago. And now we were safe. Maybe. Well, I guess we'll find out when the next raid comes. Also, the lighting's a little funky. Kind of spawns in as you get closer to it. Throughout my travels, there was one boss that evaded me for a very long time. I couldn't figure out how to get to it. I was sure that it was in a cave underground, but the entrance was always out of my reach. When I did find it, I was kind of hoping there would be a really cool underground cave system, but I'll get over it. Back at the base, we learned the new walls were great. I just had to be careful defending my place, because I do a lot more damage to the walls in a single attack than the entire raid would do. Spending the next little while exploring the map, there were a ton of interesting areas up to the northeast, and then there was this other dangerous area with a few teleport statues in it, and then the desert was pretty lame, and I did find a tower there, but the tower was far too powerful, and the town there was mostly destroyed. But moving forward, my next mission was to find quartz. I didn't have any, and I needed it for circuit boards so that I could make the next tier of sphere assembly line. But I couldn't find any of it in the desert, so I was just gonna go this way. The first island was a bust, but there was still hope for the snowy island across the water. So I swapped out for a faster flying mount, and I made my way there pretty quickly, actually, and then I basically immediately found what I was looking for. The only problem was that the cold armor still wasn't good enough during the nights. At the top of the mountain, I found also my first teleport on the snowy mountain. There's like nothing out here. God, it's even worse than the desert. But at least now that I knew where to find the crystal stuff and what it looked like, it was pretty easy to spot. I practically had no problems with it from there on out. Leveling up the last few levels I needed was an absolute painfully slow process. So I carefully researched experience-gaining practices and found a wise old ancient technique passed on through generation after generation of the wisest, most careful, and I finally reached level 50 for both myself and my pal team. And then I took on... How is he still too powerful? How to beat... Oh, he's supposed to be the toughest boss. And his weakness is dragon type. Well, at least there is one boss that I know we can take. Yeah, sorry, dude. I wanted to catch you, but I need your drops. Wait, where did... Wait, how did he fall through them? Oh, man. But yeah, I needed his drops so that I could build this. I also thought pal metal was going to be a lot more expensive to get. But either way, now we had legendary spheres. And the battle against Jormuntide began. He hit pretty hard and loved sitting out in the middle of the ocean, which made fighting him very difficult. But we did get lucky in the end, and I managed to catch him with a single sphere. I am also very tired of my pals getting stuck up there, and I don't understand what's happening. But now with Jormuntide, we can finally Yeah, we still didn't do any damage. Oh my god, seriously? Anubis, I need your power, I think. You're strong, right? You can help me out here? So began my quest to collect the most powerful team. And holy crap, the boss battle music. It is one of my favorite parts of the whole game, but yeah, we still couldn't take it down. So I repaired my armor, made some flame arrows, and I thought maybe we could just try the ongoing damage route. I'd read somewhere in a forum that ongoing damage just does damage based on the total health, but it ended up not ever being lit on fire. Yeah, the arrows didn't really do that much damage. So we picked up some new armor, changed out the weaker pals that didn't do any damage, and tried it again. This time the health actually started to go down pretty quickly, and as the battle went on, its health got lower and lower, I'll be honest. Things got a little nerve-wracking, because eventually I ran out of ammo, and yeah, there were a couple of close calls. It felt as if it took an hour, but it was probably more like 10 minutes. But we had brought it down to inches from its life, and that's when the gamble began, lowering its health slowly a little bit more and a little bit more until it was as little as possible. But sphere after sphere, it broke free. It didn't want to give up the fight, and neither did I. Well, until eventually, welcome to the team. I don't know if Legend's something that normally comes with these or if we're just getting lucky, but my god, is that good. I was now all geared up with weapons and armor, and I leveled up the team of ice pals, and we set off for Jet. I was prepared for a tough fight, but it actually went far better than I expected. Turns out a mostly stacked Frost Alien could not be stopped except for when it falls into a pool of lava and it doesn't, you know, can't get out. And then, yeah, the other ice guys did not fare at all. But it was fine because we had Jormuntide to carry the rest of the fight, except we couldn't catch it. And as much as I loved Fox Sparks, the very first pal I ever got, it didn't hold up anymore. It was nowhere near powerful enough to really do anything against these boss fights. I mean, just look at the stat differences between him and Jormuntide. And Fox Sparks has been combined together multiple times, as well as, it's just, we put so many points into it. So unfortunately, it's time to reset all the points and put them elsewhere. 102,000. How am I supposed to get that kind of money? Everything that I've collected from the time I started playing the game till now is less money than what it costs to reset these points. How is that possible? But holy crap, Frostallion is stacked. Ah, screw it, we'll just fight and see how we do. Oh wait, this is the wrong boss. Oh, so a piece of cake. Wait, does that mean this one's gonna be easy? Yeah, Jormuntide has a problem where he's just so big that he struggles in smaller spaces. And then, yeah, I also had a hard time critting him with the shotgun. Turns out when they're flying up, that's a little bit extra distance, and crits only work when you're within a certain range with the shotgun. So, yeah, I ended up teaching Frost Alien 2 more water moves, then we went back for another round and brought along a different friend. And then we finally managed to catch him. Next, it was back to the ice tower. But I still couldn't do enough damage. I had no choice. I went through all my chests, grabbed everything that seemed valuable, went back over to the destroyed town, found a trader, sold everything I possibly could. It's actually pretty easy to make money if you just sell some of the drops. I made easily the amount of money I needed, plus a bunch. Downgraded Fox Sparks, put as many of the points as I could into Jet Dragon, and we almost won, except I was an idiot. But then we took him down the next time, so it was all good. And then all that was left was the fireboat, except I'd forgotten about this tower. I kind of felt that bad, just how quickly we wrecked them. But yeah, looking about now, we'd completed everything except for one location, the place I saw at the very beginning that I'd always wanted to explore. The giant tree. Because it turns out that tower that I thought I saw at the very beginning of the game, it's actually just a seam in the skybox, so we'll just pretend that that never happened. But there it was, the giant tree. Wait, are you joking? Can I not get to the... Wait, where am I?